my name is Julia. I am a volunteer with Colorado for Pete.
And my name is Caz, and I'm also a volunteer with Colorado for Pete.
And these videos that we're making are to support you in what is grassroots organizing, what is relational organizing, and provide some support to people across the country.
And we hope that these video resources will help you with your Grassroots for Pete in your area. The type of campaigning that Pete does is called relational organizing. This is a brand new way to campaign. It is personal, it has a low bar of entry, and it has, with a small time commitment, it can have a high impact. So what relational organizing is that you talk to people who you already know, and you share with them your values, your story, and how Pete resonates with you. Relational organizing for 3 reasons. First, it works. When you talk to people that care about you, about things that you care about, it will make them care. And we're already seeing the powerful results of this kind of organizing in the early states. The second reason why we do relational organizing is because we need to. Pete is trying to go from 0 to nominee in a very short amount of time. He's already done incredible work to get his name out there and to make himself a front runner. But to close that last gap of percentage of people that aren't watching cable news, they're not going to find him on social media, that's where we come in. Those people are our moms, those are our friends, those are our coworkers. So we need to reach out to those people for Pete. Also, there's a lot of people that traditionally are left out of campaigns. And again, these are the people that we're going to reach out to in relational organizing, because this campaign is for everyone. The last reason why we do relational organizing is because it matters. So we don't have to wait for this election to be over for this campaign to make a difference. We're already starting to heal when we have those conversations one at a time that stitch back together the fabric of the country.
Because Pete is using this brand new method for organizing for the campaign has created a phenomenal grassroots organizing tool for supporters to have it's for personal use, to track your conversations and support you step by step and meet you where you're at in your growth as an organizer and a volunteer for the campaign. It supports you from the most tense conversations to talking with our most enthusiastic supporters. It lets you create a list of the people that you know and love and make a plan of action for engaging the diverse people in your life.
What should you add to your list of people in the Grassroots tool? One way to form a list is to think of 3 people in your family. So start there, because perhaps these people are going to be the most natural to talk to. And then next, pick 3 people who are like family, but you're not blood related to. These can be your friends, who are also people it should be natural to talk to. Then challenge yourself. Pick 3 people who you know with absolute certainty will vote in the Democratic primary. These are important people to include on your list, as we really want them to pick Pete. Next, pick 3 people who you don't know if they're registered to vote. Because if you can get them to register and vote, that is an extra, as we've added a voter. And then pick 3 people who you think will probably vote Republican. Because if we can get them to switch to vote in the Democratic primary for Pete, we got a double vote. And then finally, choose the one person who, if you got them to like Pete, it would be your proudest accomplishment.
You start the conversation with the people on your list.
I start by thinking about my core values, and then I share a story, a personal story, about an issue or problem that is really important to me. And then I say why Pete being president is going to help me. And then I encourage them to also share a story, and then I listen.
And what do you do when you encounter tension in these conversations?
Well, the first thing you always do is you want to be like Pete, and you want to follow those rules of the road. So you want to stay open to other people's opinions. And I'm a body language person, so I keep my arms open and I'm welcoming of their opinions and what they have to.
So one of the resources on the Grassroots tool links to ask.peteforamerica.com. At AskPete, you can enter in a keyword for an issue that is important to you or one of the people that you are reaching out to, and it pulls up a list of videos with Pete answering a question about that issue timed to that moment in one of his long town halls. And in less than 2 minutes, you have an answer in Pete's words of him explaining where he stands on that issue. It's a very, very good tool to get people to listen to Pete talk. I personally like using the tool with my list of people. When I know an issue that's important to them, I can search it, send them a video with it timed to that issue. And I really like that once Pete has answered that question, the video keeps playing, and then more and more people will fall down that rabbit hole of listening to Pete talk about issues that all of us care about as Americans.
Another resource on the Grassroots tool is the Issues page. Here you can find all of Pete's written policies. The website offers summaries of Pete's policies. Within each page is a link to the comprehensive white paper. So if you want to nerd out on the endless pages of policy and do a deep dive, the footnotes are linked to additional research. But don't feel obligated to be an expert on Pete's policies. You know your story and you know what's
One
important.
of the incredible things about this campaign is that they have a ton of faith in us as their volunteers. Another resource on the Grassroots tool is the Design Toolkit. It lets you download Pete's graphics with a variety of colors that you can create buttons, bumper stickers, or t-shirts to use for your state or your own personal grassroots organizing. And it's incredible. The campaign does give credit to all of the designs created by local artists for the designs that you can then buy buttons and bumper stickers.
After the training, attendees should leave understanding 4 things. Purpose. Knowing that they are now an organizer for the Pete for America campaign, and the work that they do every day and having those natural conversations are going to be what leads Pete to the nomination and beyond. And also knowing that success doesn't stop with Pete getting the nomination, it's about bridging that divide one conversation at a time. Accountability. Doing your part to help Pete win. Documenting the organizing they are doing to keep track and to capture the data for Pete's campaign so headquarters knows what is happening on the ground. Understanding where to go. Having a plan of action for the steps to take to add people to their list, how to engage them in conversation, and the tools and people there to help them along the way. And finally, know who to contact. Exchange numbers with the people in the room and know how to contact their volunteer lead to connect their growing network into the grassroots and be ready to be called into action going.
At the end of your training, you should invite people to the next steps on how to connect with the grassroots volunteer in your area and how to be familiar with the events page on Mobilize Me.
And if you have further questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us at Colorado for Pete on any of the social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We look forward to hearing from you.